But all right. So when are you going to do when you're smiling?
We got less than a minute till we get out.
All right, we got it. Good evening, welcome to Future Focus. I'm your host, Delfeayo Marsalis, and we're delighted to have a gentleman who is a master of the piano. He is a composer, an educator, and arranger, and we're going to welcome Mr. Matt Lemmler. Take it away.
You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead, and you're miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old dad said, son. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got troubles, then I got them too. Oh, there isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. Oh, if we stick together we can see it through. 'Cause you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Oh, now some of the folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Just you and me, boy, and as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. Friend in me. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're right. All right, all right. Yes, sir. Well, we're delighted you could join us
Thank you for having me.
this evening. So let's talk about a little bit about combining. So you have the piano chops you have to have and the singing chops. Which came first for you?
The piano came first.
Mm-hmm.
The piano came first for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I started singing about 5 years or so ago. Mm-hmm. And it was rather difficult to be a pianist for all these years without singing, and then realize there's another another finger or another voice that's coming out of me that plays the melody, and so this hand kind of became jealous a little bit, like it didn't know what to do, because this was so used to playing the melody and stuff, and so so I just worked and practiced, and I practiced all the time, just as if I practiced bebop or jazz or any kind of technique, figuring out how to accompany myself. I'm so used to accompanying vocalists and bands and stuff where it was always the hands. Now how do I get the voice out and try to be the orchestra behind it? So it was difficult. I'm not complaining. I enjoyed the process, but.
And was there any inspiration in particular that inspired you to start singing?
Oh man, after Katrina, I was in Houston for about 5 years, and my son Miles was here, and he was about 1.5 years, 2 years old, and it's hard to communicate on the phone to a youngster for any length of time, and so I started singing nursery rhymes and Walt Disney songs and children's songs and things like that, and he knew them, and so we would sing together and stuff, and so that was kind of Miles, my son, was a huge inspiration for me to connect with him over a long distance, and then I started taking it very seriously. In younger years, I was shy or embarrassed to sing, or wouldn't refuse to even sing, and now you can't shut me up. I mean, I have to sing. It's part of who I am.
And are you taking any, or have you taken any vocal lessons during that period of time?
I have not. I probably should.
Okay. No, I know sometimes, hanging around like Kathleen Battle and all the operatic singers, even though they're well established, they maintain a coach, somebody to kind of, tweak things, I would imagine.
I am seriously at a point where I want to pursue a coach or things like that, but the last 5 years I've just kind of been looking at just the joy of singing and just trying to do it naturally and stuff, and I was that way with piano too. I was very self-taught. My dad was a musician around the house and played piano, and his three sons, we all picked up piano just because he was playing. I mean, you probably experienced the same kind of thing. I mean, you kind of think music is just every family has this, and so piano was a blessing to learn, and it was just part of a language that we spoke in the house, and so I never really had any official technical playing or technical training or anything until I got to college, and I started studying with your dad and some classical teachers over at Loyola University and things like that, and at Manhattan School in New York for graduate school. But I was pretty much self-taught, and my fingering is just what's the best way to do it and stuff. So
right. So even though you're self-taught, were you learning from books, or were you learning off the radio, or from CDs or records?
I was learning. I was learning from, and I still to this day. It's funny. My dad would collect these fake books, and he was a professional bass player, and a fake book is. A collection of tunes, and in the past, a lot of them were just copied and kind of passed on under the table and stuff like that. And now a lot of them are all legalized, but we just had a collection of fake books, and I would just look through these books, and I'd hear my dad playing these songs, and I remember that one, and so I'd figure it out, and that's pretty much what I do to this day. I still collect these books and go through them, and a lot of my arranging and songs that I choose are through these books, and I take those charts in those books and rework them and revamp them and all that stuff.
Now the fake book is only the melody, and usually it's a chord symbol.
Yes.
So how did you figure out what the chord was for the symbol?
Oh, man.
How did you work that out in chord voicing?
Well, a lot of times in these books there would be like a table of contents, and in the table of contents there would be these guitar bar chords, and then there would also be like the grand staff, and like for a C chord they would have C, E, G, and then right after that would be C6 and then C7 and all these spellings, and so I'd go through the book, and slowly, if I came to a chord change I didn't know, I'd go back to the front of the book. That was the days before photocopying and scanners and printers and all this stuff, and so I'd be on page 120 in the fake book and have to go all the way back to the front of the book and go, oh, what's a B6 or something like that. And so totally just intuitive and totally just by this old-fashioned way, and just this little chord chart that had everything from minor chords and major chords and diminished chords and stuff like that. Had no idea the structure or what their purpose was at anything until I got to high school and college and stuff and started taking theory. So, and that's pretty much how I learned. And when students come to me, I tell them the same thing. Like, you want to play piano? Well, this is how I did it. It's just, it's all right here. Here's the information.
You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, just figure it out. There's the chord change. There's the melody. Well, here's the thing. Figure out where the melody is, and do the chord change, and put the chord in the left hand and the melody in the right, and go for it.
Okay, now I see you brought a keyboard, which you chose not to use. What's the fundamental difference as a pianist between playing a piano and an electronic keyboard?
There's a couple of differences. The big one for me is just the physical being of a real piano compared to a keyboard. No matter how expensive they create these electronic keyboards and stuff, they come close to the real piano. But even I would prefer. I mean, this piano, it's actually a really good instrument. It's a Steinway, and it just needs a little tweak in tuning wise. But this is my instrument, and the keyboard. The keys are sometimes not weighted right, and you have to run it through an amplifier, and it's electric, and the it sounds like a real piano, but it doesn't. I mean, the second thing is that I think it's just the physical sound of the instrument coming at me, pressing the keyboard on the keys, and feeling the vibration, and just connecting to a piece of wood, and you know, if the old keys are ivory or whatever. I mean, it's just that's just my natural thing. I mean, it's my natural environment.
So a parent, maybe their son or daughter is interested in playing, and they say, "I'll just get them a keyboard." Do you think that can be detrimental to just get them some kind of keyboard? Or
I think getting kids into music any way possible is positive, and if, in fact, somebody just asked me last week, you know, they said, "Oh, we wish we had a piano at the house," and I'm like, you can go get a keyboard. I mean, and that's, I learned from that too. we had this little organ. I mean, it was just a toy, and it had buttons, and you push the button and it would make a chord and different chords. I had no idea. I mean, I would most of the time when I was first learning or didn't know anything about the piano, I would just play around with the different chords, and it would make all the sounds and kind of create kind of little melodies with just the chord buttons. But I mean, I'm a pianist and a keyboardist. I mean, I played on all types of synthesizers and all types of keyboards, and I say whatever can get kids into music, do it. If it's a cheap keyboard, if it's a cheap piano, if it's an expensive piano, I mean, put it in front of them and let the kids experiment with it. Any way you can. Yeah.
Okay, so. And I know you talked a little bit about the challenges of accompanying yourself while you're singing. Maybe can you give us a little sample of how you would play a melody and what you would play on the piano, as opposed to if you're singing a melody? Maybe just play 8 bars.
Like just the melody?
Right.
Of
like
the last two? Like the last
you could
two?
just do it with the last song, right.
All right.
How would you play, outline the melody and play, and how is it different when you sing and you accompany yourself?
Well, so here's the melody. And if I sang it, there isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. If we stick together, we can see it through. And melody. Vocals. Oh, you've got a friend in me.
So when you're playing with the right hand, it's almost exclusively the one note, the melody line, without the harmonic, and all the harmony is in your left hand. And then when you're singing, you can accompany with the right hand, so both are playing the chords.
Well, and sometimes, I mean, you can certainly do something like Earl Garner or something like this, and